Whereas the Fayetteville Farmers Market was established in 1973 with the first farmers market on the downtown square launched in July of 1974. Whereas since that time, the Fayetteville Farmers Market has become one of Northwest Arkansas's favorite destinations and has twice been named one of America's best farmers markets. And yoo-hoo, yeah. Whereas on market days, the square is filled, like you can see today, with vendor booths offering wonderfully handcrafted items, delicious fresh produce, local meats and cheese, bright, fresh-cut flowers, and much, much more. The area is alive with the music and entertainment of local performers, the happy laughter of children, and the pleasant hum of many friendly conversations. And whereas the Fayetteville Farmers Market continues to help support family farms and local agriculture, this adds greatly to our local economy, helps preserve our heritage, and ensures a safe and secure food source for generations to come. Only one more whereas. Whereas it is a great honor to be here today to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Fayetteville Farmers Market. Woohoo! All right. Next, I am proud to introduce Mark Kane of Dripping Springs Garden, who is our longest time member for the market at the present time. And I'm going to let Mark say a few words of introduction to our founding mother, Marcella Thompson.
I was just telling the reporter here that there's so much that goes on behind the scenes here at the market. What you see is the public face of the market, but behind the scenes, there are lots of farmers out in their fields every day, and we have management staff that is busy on Facebook and doing all the organizing with who goes where on the market and all of the items that are associated with the farmers market. So we really are, all the vendors here are very, very thankful for our management staff. And we're thankful for the public. I got to this area in 1981 for the first time. I brought a load of watermelons up to Fayetteville from Natchez, Mississippi. And when I came over here to visit the farmers market in 1981, the market was already about 8 years old. At that time, it was founded in 1973. And already at that time, it was a beautiful location. Of course, the town center wasn't here at that time. It was there was a beautiful garden that was being planted around the square, maintained by the city with nice shade trees, and there was such a friendly, wonderful environment to come and hang out with friends, and it was a wonderful environment for me as a gardener, who then decided I wanted to buy property within an hour's drive of Fayetteville just to be a part of this market, and that was 39 years ago. So yes, the market was a lot smaller then, maybe a tenth of the size it is now, with maybe a tenth of the number of vendors, but all of the elements were in place. The beautiful setting, the public acceptance, the fact that agriculture cuts through so many layers, so many social layers. It's basically a common denominator for everybody. So it's been a wonderful experience for our farm to be here at the farmers market and to have such wonderful public acceptance. And this market wouldn't be here if it weren't for Marcella Thompson. And in fact, so that means maybe I wouldn't be here either if it weren't for Marcella Thompson. Marcella and her husband Glenn wrote up the basic organizational, the bylaws and the articles of incorporation of the farmers market in a very far-sighted way back in 1973 to get the market established, and it was such good groundwork that it survived all these years, all these 50 years. And Marcella and I became friends when we were helping to start a farmers market in Eureka Springs. Our market has become known locally, regionally, and a lot of the markets in the area have used our market rules, which started with Marcella and her husband, as their ground rules for their operation because our market functions so well. Marcella taught sociology here at the university for 28 years. She's got a great sense of humor, and she has a perspective on the market like nobody else does. So let's hear from Marcella.
Thank you, Mark. The only reason I'm here is because I'm the only one left from the founders. In 1973, if you look at the society we were living in, we were post-Vietnam War, post-social upheaval of the 60s. young people were coming to the Ozarks in a back to the land movement, and it was an interesting time. I was working for the Washington County Economic Opportunity Agency, which was the anti-poverty agency. Richard Nixon was president, which we all remember and love, I'm sure. He was in the process of dismantling OEO because it was a Lyndon Johnson program. So basically, EOA had staff, but we didn't have much of anything to do because we kept getting programs defunded. So we're sitting around saying, what could we do? We had a lot of older farmers in northwest Arkansas and Washington County, really good farmers. The poverty rate among elderly, even in northwest Arkansas at that time, was pretty high because they didn't get Social Security because they hadn't paid in. So we're thinking, we've got all of these people, they've got land, they've got experience, they've got skills. Let's start a farmer's market. So we went to the extension agent, and he said, forget it, it'll never work. So we went to the city and said, we want to start a farmer's market. We don't want you people on our square. The city fathers had visions of pot-smoking hippie socialist / communist, whoever, doing whatever on their square, which nobody would have noticed because the square was deserted. It was a ghost square. So we said, well, to hell with it. We're going to do it anyway. So we incorporated. We wrote bylaws. We wrote rules. And we were suddenly a farmer's market. Now, we had no location, we had no farmers, but other than that, we were good. So, one day, an elderly gentleman by the name of Paul Lewis walked into my office, and he said, are you the one starting this market? And I said, yeah. He said, I'm going to help you. Good. Well, Paul was old line Fayetteville, as in Lewis Ford, Lewis Hardware. And he grabbed this like a bone. And he said, we're going to the square, we're going to have it on the square. And I said, the city's already told us we're not having it on the square. He said, well, we'll see about that. He was Fayetteville Downtown, which was the Merchants Association, which were basically no merchants left on the square, but whatever. So he said, you will start it where my office is, 1 block west of the square. I got a parking lot, that's where we'll start it. And that's where we started it. And the first market was pathetic. The staff at EOA, friends and family, had raided people's gardens, picked wildflowers along the roadside, robbed my mother's crochet basket because we didn't have any farmers. So we had not much of anything to sell, but people came out of curiosity. And then a man named Wilbur Watson came to my office and threw $5 on my desk, which was the membership fee then. And he said, I want to join the market, I'll have corn. Good, so I signed him up. And he said, you know, if you're going to have a farmer's market, you really need some farmers. Duh. He said, I can bring you farmers. I said, okay, do it. So he had been an insurance agent for many, many, many years, knew everybody in Washington County. And he started going around to all the farmers he knew. And legend has it that he didn't ask them if they wanted to join the market. He just told them what they were going to bring to market and how much to expand their gardens. And in the meantime, Paul Lewis had discovered a state ordinance from the 1800s that said cities and towns in the state will provide room on the city square for farmers to bring their wagons and produce and sell. Well, he went to the city with his ordinance. I don't know what he said to them. I suspect, knowing Paul, he told them we were either going to the square or we'd see him in court. So suddenly we moved to the square, and Wilbur's farmers began to trickle in. A lot of them brought things to sell. A lot of them spent that first year watching to see if they wanted to do it. EOA provided us money for a manager for a year, and after the first year, the market was supporting itself. And 50 years later, it's an iconic landmark of Fayetteville, and the heart and soul of this market is our farmers, our artisans, and our customers. And it's been an interesting ride, and none of us ever thought that it would turn into this, and certainly we never thought that 50 years later it would be the market that it is. Chris Rinaldi, who is here today from Tiny Town, he was an early member for 18 years. A lot of our members have gone. A lot of the founders have gone. But it's one thing to start something like this. It's another thing to make it grow for 50 years. That is just an amazing accomplishment. And our members, the boards of directors, management, get big kudos for that, because we just never imagined that it would turn into this. And I am extremely proud to have ever been a part of it. And Wilbur, after a couple of years, became our manager. And you remember Chris, he ruled the market with an iron fist. If you didn't grow what you had in your truck, you went home. If you were dumping stuff at a lower price, you went home. And so what we did, I would like to stand up here and tell you we were visionaries who knew exactly what we were doing and pulled it off. Not quite. We had the vision, but did we really know what we were doing? Not really. It just so happens we did a lot of things right. Probably not by intent, but we did have some experience with nonprofits. And so it is just an amazing market, and one of the best, probably the best in the state, probably one of the best in the nation. And again, it's our members and our customers. And in closing, I would like to urge all of you to talk to your cities and counties about farmland trusts. We are paving all of the farmland in this area. And for markets like this to thrive and survive, you got to have land. And I would love to see some of my tax dollars go to a farmland trust so that young farmers who want to farm can have the land to do it on. So that's my political statement. thank you all for being loyal customers, and thank our management and the board of directors and Mark, Chuck, who was president. Are you still president? No, okay, but he was for a long time. So enjoy the market, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Marcella. Let me get around you here. Okay. The final thing that I wanted to do, we do have merch. The new design was designed by one of our members, Beth Wessner, and we will be rolling out another design later this summer, but this is the special 50th anniversary design. If we run out of t-shirts, please don't worry. We have a way for you to order one, and we're going to do another printing, and we'll get your size in. So there's merch available here and at the normal manager's booth up by Bank of Fayetteville. Then I want to say thank you to Art Ventures, who made the black and white photographs from the 70s available to us. And Art Maripol was corresponding with me as I put this together. Art was a student at the University of Arkansas, came and took some incredible black and white photos that capture what it was like 50 years ago. And those are in a tent here at the edge of the plaza. Please walk by. If you recognize anybody, if that triggers a memory for you, we have a little notebook. And some of you have been responding online. We're going to collate all those and try to make those into some sort of memory book. Finally, I know you're all curious about treats, okay? That's the wrap up. We will, at the merch tent, in a few minutes, we have to bring them up because we've been trying to keep them cool. We're going to have little 50th anniversary cupcakes, chocolate and vanilla. And for those of you who cannot eat gluten, we have cake pops that are gluten-free. So give us a few minutes to get those up and out. And otherwise, please enjoy the market today and the 70 members who are here celebrating with all of us our 50th anniversary. Thank you very much.